Good evening, wrestling fans. It's the weekend. The work week is in the books. It's now the weekend. Just want to wish you all a happy weekend. Well, it's an edition of WWE Friday Night Smackdown on the USA Network. It's the second to last Smackdown before SummerSlam. Now, before I get into tonight's Smackdown, I want to take some time to talk about Hulk Hogan. Now, many of you are aware that yesterday WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan passed away at the age of 71. Apparently, he was found dead in his home in Clearwater, Florida. Police and paramedics were on the scene. They tried to revive him, but unfortunately he was pronounced dead at the scene. It looks like he died from a heart attack. Now, I want to take some time to talk about this man. What an incredible wrestling career this man had. This man, Hulk Hogan, gave a lot to this business, I mean the wrestling industry. I mean, he started out in the AWA, which stands for American Wrestling Alliance, which was a territory at the time. Because back then, 70s and into the 80s, you had all these territories, and the AWA was one of the territories until Vince bought all the territories. Until Vince bought up all the territories and took WWE national. Back to Hulk Hogan. So this man started in AWA, then he goes to WWE. Now back then it was WWF. Once he came to WWF/WWE, that's where the birth of Hulkamania started. His career exploded when he came to the WWE. And what the 80s was really big with Hulk Hogan. One of my favorite matches back in the 80s that he had was Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3, which packed 93,000 plus fans in the Pontiac Silverdome in Detroit, Michigan. That match was iconic. It was a classic match. I think it's one of the greatest matches that he's had in his wrestling career. So that's one of my favorite matches. His matches back in the 80s. Then he goes into WCW. I think it was '93. And my favorite moment of him in WCW is when he revealed himself as the third man of the NWA. I always remember that moment when he revealed himself as the third man of the NWO. So that's one of my favorite memories of him in WCW. Now, he's there for most of the time through the rest of the 90s. Now, until Vince McMahon buys WCW in 2001. Now, in February of 2020, in February of 2002, Vince McMahon, who was the owner of WWE, brought in the NWO, meaning Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash, which was the NWO. So that's when Hulk Hogan makes a return back into the WWE. And one of my favorite matches that he had once he came back to the WWE in 2002 was against The Rock. That was an awesome match. You had the two biggest names, meaning The Rock and Hulk Hogan, icon versus icon, past versus present. That was such a great match. Both The Rock and Hogan put on one hell of a match. At WrestleMania 18 at the Skydome in Toronto. That was such a great match. And that was one of my favorite matches of him coming back into the WWE. So that was just a great match. He also had matches against Triple H. He had a match against The Undertaker during that time. But my favorite match was him against The Rock at WrestleMania 18 in Toronto as my favorite match. He also spent time in TNA, and he even made an impact within TNA. I think he did very good in TNA for the time he was in TNA. I didn't know much about it because I didn't really watch TNA at that time. But so this man spent a lot of time in a few promotions: AWA, WWE, WCW, then back to WWE, and then TNA. Now, I said this to someone else today, and someone I'm busting open. I think it was Dave DeCracker. He said, and I agree with him, if it wasn't for Hulkamania, there would not be a WrestleMania. That's why we have a WrestleMania, is because of Hulkamania. Because Hulkamania was born before WrestleMania. And that first WrestleMania back in '84, Vince gambled everything. And he gambled. And lucky enough, it was a success. But if it wasn't for Hulkamania, there would not be WrestleMania. Now, many of you don't like him now because of his personal issues outside of the wrestling industry, plus, his political views and his friendship with Trump. I don't look at that. I don't look at his personal life, his political views, who he's friends with outside the wrestling industry. I'm more focused on and more concerned about his wrestling career and what he did in the AWA, WWE, WCW, and TNA for the time he was there. So I don't look at what went on in his personal life outside, because to me, I'm more looking forward to and appreciate what he did for the wrestling business. And I gotta be honest with you, when I first found out the news about he passed away, which was yesterday during lunchtime, I had on Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7, and it was Robin Lundberg filling in for Sam Roberts on Not Saying Wrestling. And he broke that news, and I could not believe it. I was shocked and stunned. I couldn't believe it. Now, I don't know if the man was sick or it was just a heart attack. I don't know. So we probably won't know for a while what the exact cause of death that he had. But I was absolutely shocked stunned that he passed away. This could be a tough loss to swallow, and this loss is going to stink a while. And I think a lot of people, including myself, are going to be talking about Hulk Hogan right through SummerSlam weekend, maybe beyond that, because this is a huge loss for the wrestling industry. And a lot of wrestling fans, including myself, are in mourning. I grew up watching Hulk Hogan. I idolized him. He was my childhood hero. I grew up watching him. He was one of my first wrestlers that it was my favorite. So this could be a lot of talk about. This could be a lot of a lot of talk about Hulk Hogan in the upcoming weeks, and maybe about a month, because this is a huge loss for the wrestling industry. He gave a lot to this business. I mean, not just. Plus, he was in movies such as Rocky 3, as you all know. He played Thunder Lips, which he was great in it. He was also in Thunder in Paradise. I don't know. I'm not sure who else he was in, but the big movie he was in that it was successful was Rocky 3, and that was came out in '82, and it was before WrestleMania 1, which came out in '84, which was '84. So this man had one hell of a wrestling career. Now, I get it. John Cena is 17-time champion. A lot of people consider him as the GOAT, and maybe he is a GOAT. But in my eyes, and my view, and I'm sure in all of you views, Hulk Hogan is the greatest of all time in pro wrestling. I get it. John Cena is 17-time champion. He did a lot of business, but Hulk Hogan paved the way for all these wrestlers that we have today. So he did a lot for the wrestling industry. He did a lot. He was in four wrestling promotions during his wrestling career. So it's gonna be a huge loss for the wrestling industry, a big loss. It's gonna be a tough loss to swallow. It's gonna stink for a while, and people will be talking about Hulk Hogan in the upcoming weeks, because this is a huge loss for the industry. He impacted so much within the wrestling industry, so much. But like I said, I don't look at what he did in his personal life, his political views, his ties to Trump, his friends with. I don't look at that. I look at as what he did in pro wrestling. Now, tonight's Smackdown. Now, it's already been announced on social media that WWE is planning on doing a tribute to Hulk Hogan, and to even contact a whole bunch of legends to either attend Smackdown tonight to give a tribute, or record a video for WWE to show on SmackDown. So I'm curious of what legends show up tonight on SmackDown. But WWE is planning on doing a tribute to Hulk Hogan, and I wouldn't be surprised if they kick off tonight's SmackDown with a moment of silence. They'll probably do a 10-bell moment of silence, most likely. So here's what's on tonight on Friday Night SmackDown. We have Alexa Bliss versus Roxanne Perez. This should be a very, very exciting match. I think both Alexa Bliss and Roxanne, Roxanne Perez will put on a very good performance tonight on Smackdown. Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, and Jerry Rowe are all expected to be on tonight's SmackDown. I'm curious of what's going to transpire between these four guys tonight. Whether they're probably going to confront each other in the ring in some sort of fashion. So I'm very interested on what that's going to happen. As I said before, it's going to be a tribute to Hulk Hogan, which I'm not surprised, but I figured that the WWE would do a tribute to Hulk Hogan. Cody Rhodes will be on SmackDown and plan on to make an address to the WWE Universe regarding his street fight match against John Cena at SummerSlam for the undisputed WWE Championship. Now, I'm very curious what he has to say tonight, especially the way SmackDown ended last Friday. So I'm very interested in what he has to say tonight on SmackDown. Not sure if John Cena is going to be on SmackDown tonight. I'm not sure if that's one of his dates. But Cody Rhodes is planning on being on tonight's SmackDown and is planning on addressing the WWE Universe. Also, last but not least, we're going to have the Y6 versus Andrade and Rey Fenix. This should be a very interesting match tonight. I'm looking forward to this tag team match. I'm curious of how well it's going to go tonight, since I don't think these four men have faced each other in the ring. So I'm curious of how this match between the White Six versus Andrade and Rey Fenix goes tonight. So this was announced for tonight's SmackDown. Like I said, it should be exciting, but at the same time, and also SmackDown, because WWE is planning on having a tribute to Hulk Hogan. I'm sure several superstars, past or present, will make a tribute tonight during tonight's SmackDown. It's going to be a emotional one, a special one. So it should be very emotional and exciting night. Still in shock and stunned that Hulk Hogan passed away. He died at 71. Now, you think it's old, 71. But compared to how long people live now, 71 is young to pass away. But unfortunately, we lost a very, very incredible wrestler in Hulk Hogan. I'll miss him. He gave us great memories, us wrestling fans, great matches. He gave great promos, especially on the mic. When me and Gene interviewed him backstage, I'll never forget the night when he revealed himself as the third man of the NWO. That's something that I'll never forget. I'll never forget the match he had with The Rock, which was a phenomenal match. There's gonna be a lot of things I'm gonna miss. But just because Hulk Hogan's gone, Hulkamania will always live on in memories in our hearts. Hulkamania will never die. Despite Hulk Hogan has passed on, Hulkamania will live on forever. Will live on in spirit and in our hearts. So that's all I gotta say about Hulk Hogan and on tonight's SmackDown. For those who are planning on watching tonight's SmackDown, enjoy the show. I'm planning on watching it myself. Should be, like I said, should be an emotional night tonight. So that's about it. Before in this video, please, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to grow my channel with subscribers. So if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hope you have a great Friday evening to kick off your weekend.